Long ago, the world of Ara descended into chaos, and paradise was lost. False gods from the unseen realm deceived the people of Ara, stealing their birthright. Mortals roamed the wasteland, hopelessly searching for purpose. And that brings us to me, a celestial guardian, sent as a light piercing the darkness. My name is Gabriel.
Hey everyone! Thanks so much for joining us again. My name is David Cunningham. I'm a writer on the series and a producer on the series, and my buddy Al, actually this way, is with me.
Producer
Al, you want to
as
introduce
well.
yourself?
Yeah, as I say, I'm a producer as well on the show. It does say animator under there. I don't think I'll be doing any animation, but I have animated in the past.
Yes, yeah, you've animated some beautiful, beautiful shows in the past. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We've got a pretty fun show tonight. We've got some really cool stuff. In today's live stream, we got some announcements. We've got a contest that we're going to tease. We're actually not going to announce the full thing yet, but we're going to talk about that a little bit. And basically be watching our socials for more stuff on that. So we got a contest coming up. It's going to be really cool. We're going to be showing new artwork tonight, and so that's going to be really fun. We've got some pretty cool concept art that's been coming in, and it's just, we're really excited to share that with you guys. We also have some perks that we're going to talk about for the crowdfund, and we're going to talk about those a little bit. And then at the end of the show, we're going to do a little bit of Q&A. A lot of you have had questions. A lot of you have been posting some of the questions on the investment page, posting some of the questions in the live stream chat. We'll do some live Q&A at the end. But first, before we do any of that, we have a really cool video from Jason. You might be wondering, where's Jason? Well, Jason is actually in Cannes, France, right now at an event called Mipcom, which is basically this huge event. It's one of the biggest in the world, where basically buyers of TV shows and sellers of TV shows get together and make deals. And so Jason and Alice, our overseas supervisor, producer, they're at Mipcom right now, and they're working on stuff to basically make the show successful. Jason actually sent us a little video of what they're doing over there, which I haven't even watched yet, so I'm going to watch it for the first time with everyone here. So let's go ahead and check that out.
Great meetings. I was thinking of lots of great meetings. Good meetings. Some really good meetings. We made it in! Opening ceremonies! Look here.
Awesome.
Little peek
All right,
at
well-
Mipcom, our first time seeing it as well.
Yeah, man, Jason loves playing some cool music. That was really neat. Yeah, it looks really cool. Wow. I've never been to Mipcom, so that looks pretty cool. Maybe one day we'll go. But yeah, so again, Jason and Alice, they're over there essentially meeting with buyers. So this is going to be like, there's networks, there's broadcasters, there's distributors, there's toy companies are there. There's lots of different people there that are looking at, shows like ours to see about making deals to get the show out there. And as basically, if you go to the investment page, what you'll see in there is that one of our goals is to get the show out to as wide and as broad an audience as we can. And so that's basically what they're working on right now. So I think the first thing we've got here is a little bit about where we're at with the investments, the investment opportunity. Al, do you want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah. So before we get going too much into everything else, yeah, the investment opportunity is a lot now. So you can check it out on angel.com/guardians. And you can go there and there is all of the details there. There's the fine details there. The details our attorneys and lawyers make us put in there. And there's also perks listed there. There's a lot of information there. You can dig into that, and it is an investment. It's not like a Kickstarter campaign or something like that. This is actually people purchasing shares in the company, and all of those specific details are spelled out on the angel.com/guardians to help you understand what you would be not only where we're talking about perks, but what you would be getting for an investment. Yeah,
That's right.
That's about it right now on that side. We can't talk. It's funny because, you get into this and you want to tell your fans everything, but you can't really tell them everything because the attorneys tell you can't tell them everything. And it's not because they're trying to hide anything. It's because the SEC, which is our lovely federal government, the Securities and Exchange Commission, has all kinds of lovely rules that say you can say this, you can't say that. And so it's not that we're trying to be deceptive or trying to hide anything from anybody. It's just, it's rules. And, it's, if you're not in that marketplace and you're not in that industry, you don't understand those things. And God knows, we weren't from there. We've had to learn this all. We've had to have a high speed education into all of this stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's some exciting stuff there. Again, angel.com/guardians. And you can go in there and check it out. That's about as much as we can say, really. So take a look.
Yeah, that's right. You can go to angel.com/guardians to learn about all the things that we can't say on the live stream right now. And what Al was saying is it all relates to SEC Rule 204, and that kind of says what we can and can't say whenever we are not directly on the actual investment page. The investment page has all the info. You can go to the actual investment page. You can read the Form C. You can see all the stuff on the show, the offering, and all those great details.
I would say we could make this really, really boring by reading the entire Form C, but then our show would be over by the time we got done reading it. And, anyway.
It's pretty long.
Yeah.
All right. So about that contest that we mentioned at the beginning. So definitely keep an eye on our socials because we're going to be announcing a contest soon. And so something that we've been talking about a lot, if you go to the investment page, if you've ever seen any of the ads that we've run, or, we've been talking a lot about how we really want the community to help us create this show. And so we've been talking a lot about this. And so we're going to hold a contest where you will get a chance to help us make the show. I can't give away too many details right now, but it's going to be just it's a small way that we really want to involve people in helping us make the show and get this thing created and kind of our heart behind this whole thing. So keep an eye out. We should be posting something this week. You can check our Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and just keep an eye out for that official announcement and the details of that contest. And then I think now we actually have some really cool artwork to show. Al, do you want to talk about this new artwork from one of our amazing artists?
Yeah, so not to leave anybody out, but we have some new stuff that's come in from one of our fantastic concept artists. His name is Jan. I don't want to butcher his last name, so I'm not going to try it. But yeah, we've got some great artwork coming in for different environments that he's been working on for us and really helping to bring our show and our world into existence for you guys. It's exciting stuff. I mean, you can see the designs here are fantastic.
And actually, one of those images is actually from the manga that we're working on with a different studio. And actually, if you go to the investment page, you'll be able to see those pictures of the manga. But we wanted to kind of highlight them here that we are working on a manga comic of the show. And if you're familiar with with that style of comic, it's a black and white comic. So if you're wondering where's the color, there's no color in mangas like that. So,
and for those of you again familiar with manga, it's going to be read traditionally right to left, and
that's right,
bound that way as well.
Yeah, and so yeah, so this is something that we are hopefully going to be putting out soon. We're working on getting this done with a studio in the Philippines, and we're hoping that we're going to be putting this out soon for everyone to read and enjoy. But this is basically a little prequel story that we're working on that takes place before the main events of season 1 in the series. So yeah. And then Al,
Yeah, and I
yeah, you
believe
want to
this is the
go back to
ash
that.
can, right? Sorry, this is the ash can, right? So
Yeah.
this is the short 18-page version. It wouldn't be a full manga for anyone wanting to know about it. It's going to be kind of like David was saying. It's almost a teaser before the actual series comes out to get you kind of into what's happening and the events that happen before we actually see our characters animated and on the big screen.
That's right. But yeah, if I want to jump back to those other art pieces and take a look at these. So yeah, like some of you might be wondering, is this in 3D? And you might be wondering, wait, our show's 2D. So we're creating the environments in 3D so that we can essentially use any angle that we need. But the show will be in 2D as all of our trailers and artwork and everything is shown. But yeah, Al, do you want to talk about these some?
Yeah. So
cool
what's great about the process that we're doing here is exactly what David said. We don't, because we're doing everything hand drawn. It's not like when you do a CG show, because I've done both. I've done CG shows and I've done hand drawn shows. And what happens here is, and I don't know how much of the weeds, but hopefully people like this stuff, is that when you draw, like let's say we draw this angle here of this platform and what have you. Well, if we decide we want to rotate the camera left or we want to rotate the camera right or we want to bring it up or down, then we've got to redraw that whole thing. So what we're doing is we're building these environments in CG so that we can get the framing, we can move the camera around, we can get the action that the directors are envisioning and tell the story visually from, again, correct, interesting angles and dynamic angles. And then we can go in and draw or paint these environments instead of, doing something and then coming back at it and looking at it and going, wow, that's not really the angle we want. I mean, that's very time consuming. It gets expensive to redraw these things, to repaint these things. So what we're able to do with CG is to make that process much more efficient, but also more dynamic for the viewer. So we're not, stuck with angles that don't really work because it takes too long to fix them. So, yeah, so we're doing a lot of pre-production and a lot of pre-planning of these shots using CG because it's a quicker medium to do things in. But then we're going to come back with the traditional hand-drawn, hand-painted look. I mean, granted, today we're not using pencil and paper anymore. We're using Wacom tablets and digital, digital paper, for lack of a better word. But we're also using, digital paintbrushes and digital paint. Even though it's being hand painted, it's not necessarily, a CG render of an environment as much as it is the environment being based off of these concepts. These are concepts here. And this is kind of the, what the lighting is going to look like, what the mood of these environments is going to be. It's going to give you, evoke the feeling that you're seeing here, but it's going to be, each shot will be painted. The backgrounds will all be hand painted, hand drawn. Yeah, it's going to be amazing looking show, as you can see here. It's going to be really, really cool. We're doing some stuff that's a little different than your normal production pipeline, but we think it's going to be the results so far. What we're doing is looking pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. As Al mentioned, Jan is a really awesome artist, and probably one of the things you can tell is that we're going for a very epic scale, of the show. We're going for just, everything's big, and everything is just kind of grand and epic, and that was it's on purpose. That's what we want. We want the show to be big, epic. We want it to feel really big. It's the intention is it's like a saga. Excuse me. And the other thing too, that you might notice is that the environments are kind of dark down here. And that in our teaser trailer, there's a lot of shots of Gabriel, up in a much brighter, more cheery environment. But if you remember if you watch the teaser trailer, if you're listening to what Gabriel says, he says, "I was sent to be a light in the darkness." And so this actually is the world that we're going to be spending quite a bit of time in the series, and our characters are going to be lights in the darkness. And so it's going to be kind of dynamic in what we're doing here with lighting, with the way the world is. But Ara is a place that needs healing, and Ara is a place that needs help, and that's kind of what the series is about. So yeah, very, very, very cool stuff. So now let's talk a little bit about the perks. As Al said, as we mentioned before, we can't talk all the details about the perks, but what we can say is that for investors, there are perks in addition to actually being an investor. So it's not just that you actually, if you I think the minimum, I can't talk about that. But if you put in whatever the minimum is for the investment, you become a shareholder in the company.
It's those legal limits again.
I can't say what the amount is, but if you go to the page, you'll be able to see what the minimum amount is. And if you put in that minimum amount, you will be an investor in the show, and that means that you're part of the show and that you're a co-owner in the series. But if you put in more than what the minimum is, and again, you got to go to the webpage to see what those numbers are. There are some perks that are available. So not only can you become an owner, but you can also receive some special items. Some of the perks include a poster, a badge. With some of the bigger perks, those are actually getting to meet us, getting to sit in on a cast Zoom record. So you actually get to see what it's like when we're recording with our cast. We actually did a record today, earlier today. And
it was a great record as well. Great record.
Yeah, it was really cool. The actors,
you guys will get to sit in
on this show are awesome. Yeah. And so depending on what level you get in at, there's perks that give you different things depending on the level. Yeah, so one of them's getting on a cast record. Another one is getting invited to the premiere. And then even getting to help us create a character in the show. And we're gonna be doing this, like we mentioned, we're gonna be doing a contest that involves you as well, and that's going to be separate from the perks. That contest is going to be open to anybody. Just FYI, it's not attached to a perk. It's just kind of a tease of what some of the perks are going to be like. And again, we have various investment.
Sorry, I was going to say, and it helps to build the community as well, because what we plan, like with these different contests that we are planning, and right now we're only talking about, these couple of them, but it's going to allow the community to build within each other because you're going to vote on these things. So the community itself is going to be able to vote on these things. That's
right. Yeah. We're really excited because it gives everyone who is just a fan of the show a voice, and it just gets, again, kind of like a tease as to how we're kind of do things long term with the show. And so, again, we have various investment levels with different perks you can get. And again, you can learn more by going to angel.com/guardians. And there's a fly buzzing around me. That's what I just did that for. All right. So
you're not going crazy.
Yeah, sometimes. All right. So
well, maybe you are.
Let's see here. Do we have any questions? Does anyone have any questions they want to ask us? I cannot see if we do or not. So let me see if any pop up. Okay, cool. Thank you. We appreciate everyone being here. We really appreciate you watching, being part of it. Even if you can't invest, we just appreciate you just supporting the show through just watching these streams, through maybe like following us on social media. We really appreciate everyone who takes an interest in the show. So thanks.
I was gonna say definitely follow us on social. Each of us gets on there and answers questions, and it's try to engage with the fans, and we're glad that you guys are here. We're doing this for you guys. I mean, we're doing it because it's a show, a story we want to tell and that we believe in, but we're doing all of this for you guys, and we definitely want your involvement. We definitely want you guys, speaking into it, which is why we're offering some of the things we're offering. And, and like David said, if you can't afford to, become an investor in it, just share it, tell people about it, show it to people, say, hey, check this thing out. It doesn't mean that they have to become investors, but just awareness of the show. That's what we want to do. We want to spread the awareness of this show. And if you're excited about it, your friends will feel that excitement, and they'll get excited about it. So we just thank you guys. Thank you guys for.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for everyone who has done that. And like Al said, that is huge. Just sharing with people is huge. I mean, most of you probably know how hard it is to get visibility with something new like this. I mean, there's just, there's just so many projects, there's so many shows, there's so many things going on all the time. So, even just like Al said, just sharing it with one person, just saying, hey, this looks cool. Maybe you'd be interested in this. That's huge for us. We're a small little studio working with Angel Studios, and we've got this one show that we were putting 150% into, just trying to do everything we can to make this thing successful, to make it good, to make it entertaining. So any little bit helps. A like helps. Sharing it helps. We really do appreciate y'all. But yeah, do we have? See here. Do we have any other questions? Oh, okay. There we go. How do we approach the voice casting?
The voice casting. So it's. I'll just jump on this one. We can alternate if you want, and then we can fill in. So I don't know if you're asking like how do you get involved or, but what happened with us is Jason met Johnny Youngbosch and in another project for a comic book for child trafficking and or anti-child trafficking, and that relationship formed, and then it formed over a couple of years. And then when this project came up, Jason approached him and said, would you be interested? And he said, sure, yeah. So he came in and did some voice work for us. He actually did some voice work early on for us. And then he has brought on he's good friends with Christina V. He mentioned it to Christina V, and she was very interested. She came in and read for us and was fantastic. And then through some friends that Jason knew, out of it was really a strange way that this happened, that one of our other partners, his name is Brad Gibson, he knew the former lead singer of a band called Jars of Clay, who then kind of relayed through Brad to Jason that he knew somebody who did cartoon voices, and that was literally what they said, cartoon voices. And we were all like, what the heck, cartoon voices? Who is this guy? Is he some guy who's just, somewhere in the neighborhood, talking to his own kids or his kids' friends, or who is this guy? Well, long story short, if you guys know who our cast is, it turned out to be James Arnold Taylor. And through that connection, we couldn't believe it. We were like, what the heck? We're talking with Obi-Wan Kenobi from Clone Wars, and he's such a fantastic guy, such a nice guy, such a super talented guy. And then through that led to his neighbor, and for you, Matt Lanter, I say, who has the high ground. Matt Lanter lives right there next to James Arnold Taylor, and he'd be so happy to hear that he has the high ground. And so yeah, that's a joke between them. But and then that's just led to other people. I hope I don't forget anybody. Christina Malizia.
Hold on. We're not announcing.
Sorry, yet. I forgot. Never mind. Scratch that. People forget immediately.
We do have some more people we're going to announce soon.
Sorry. I'm so excited. These people are amazing people, and I'm so excited.
So like Al said, Johnny Youngbosch, Matt Lanter, James Arnold Taylor, Christina V, and then through James, we met James's wife, Allison Taylor, who is awesome, and she has ended up coming on and helping us with casting, being our casting director, and she's been fantastic. And through her, and we actually have a few other voices we're going to be announcing soon. So stay tuned.
I may or may not have just said one of them. Sorry.
It happens.
Hey, it's live. This is what happens.
That's right. That's right. So yeah,
I've never done
yeah,
that before. So
yeah, okay, cool. We got another question. So excited. Out of curiosity, are there any other kingdoms beside Qayinara? Would you be willing to expand culture inspiration to, I'm assuming, to other things? The answer is yes. There are many kingdoms beside. I said it wrong. Qayinara. There are many kingdoms besides Qayinara. Qayinara is kind of the big one in season 1, but there are many kingdoms. There are. Should we say how many there are, Al? We've got a specific
see, I was
number
just
of kingdoms.
thinking that myself. I mean, how many do we tell them? We could say there's more than one and less than 20.
Yeah. Somewhere in there, right?
Somewhere in between there.
That's right. We've got a really cool series Bible that outlines all the different kingdoms and the histories of those kingdoms. And so kind of, like when you're building a fantasy world, what you want is you really want it to feel like, it's been lived in. Like there's actual history there. There's actual, things happening, that things have happened, that things have a history, that so yes, there are several kingdoms. And in season 1, I think I can tell you how many we're going to meet in season 1. We're going to meet, I'm just adding them up. We're going to meet Qayinara, and then we're going to meet, I think we're going to meet 4. We're going to meet 4 kingdoms in season 1. And we're going to go to some really cool places. Season 1 is pretty fun because we do get to travel to several different places, and we get to see very different cultures and different lands. Even like in the concept art, if you were looking at those, some of them look very deserty. Others are like there's like this kind of like more lush kind of like rain things happening. And so it's a very sorry, it's a very distinct world where nothing looks the same. Every culture is going to have its own feel. Every culture is going to have its own kind of thing. So yeah. So this in particular, this is an area you will actually get to see this area in episode 1, and this is not a good place to be. You wouldn't want to be here. This is a dark place.
It doesn't look like any nice people live here.
There's nobody nice. Well, there might be somebody nice living there.
Can you tell we don't want to give away anything?
That's right. Let's see here. Sorry, man. Of course, I would get a cough right before we go live. All right. Any other questions out there? Does anyone else have any other questions they want to post? All right. Evan says, that's cool that you're already recording. What is the general roadmap for the show's development going forward? Music, animation? Yeah. So the way that the ideal way to make an animated series is you write the script, and then after you write the script, you kind of do a couple things simultaneously, actually. One direction is you go off and you do concept art, and you start creating concept art like the stuff that we're showing you. And then the other thing that you want to do is you want to start recording your voice actors, because after you record the voice actors, you want to hand those the tracks, like the actual recordings, to your storyboard artist so that they can actually start storyboarding based off of the actual voice actor's voice. And so essentially kind of the progress that you go to: script, concept art, and then voice acting. And then you go to storyboards, and then from storyboards you go to animatic. And so the animatic is basically just you take the storyboards, you edit them, you put in sound effects, make sure the timing is right, you kind of work out all those little details, you make sure that every shot is the length it should be, and that the total show runtime is the runtime it's supposed to be. So for our show, we're going to be 22-minute show. So every episode will be like 22 minutes. And then you create this animatic, and that animatic serves as the blueprint for animation production. And so you send that to the animators, and the animators actually start animating based off of that animatic. That actually kind of gets into Al's area, but you get into production. And Al, do you want to talk about production a little bit?
Sure. So yeah, exactly what David's talking about. I mean, these animatics are basically, the camera, and we were talking about it earlier too when we were talking about the concept artwork, is basically the camera framing of a shot. So, it's basically like what the directors want to see, in the shot. They want to see the staging, the framing of the characters, where the characters standing in relationship to the environments, what makes a pleasant visual composition for the viewer. And again, visually tells the story, visually pushes the story forward. And like David was saying, yeah, when we get the dialogue, that's important for animators because you want to get all of your lip sync, your the mouth shapes, you want to get those all accurate based on what your character is saying. It also helps because you can hear the emotion in the character, and it helps the animator to act out the character. Back when I was at Disney, they used to have this saying about animators, actors with pencils. And it's kind of a similar thing in today, even though we don't, again, use pencil and paper. You have a stylus and a computer, but animators are really actors, and they're trying to convey to the audience the performance of our voice actors. They're trying to bring that across, and it's very important for them to be able to use that because that's how they set up the mouth shapes. And for those of you who are big anime fans, we are going to be doing this though based off the English language that we're going to be animating to, but we do have plans on dubbing it into Japanese at some point. Because I know I've seen that on the socials a lot. People asking that question, like, is it going to be Japanese first and then dubbed into English? But because we're English speaking, it's going to be easier for us to get the animation correct if we just do it as English first and then kind of reverse to Japanese. But yeah, I mean, so I've almost forgotten what all Dave was talking about. But yeah, that's production. We're going to go from there. We get animated, we get the character animation. We got the visual effects animation, which is important. A lot of people don't think about that, but we have visual effects animation. Then in that process, when all of that's going on, again, David alluded to, the pipeline kind of splits several directions. Once we get past animatic stage, our animatics are going over to get music and scoring added to them that will then get adjusted as we get final animation. It also goes over to our post-production houses for sound effects, which is another important part of the show. And so I mean, there's a lot of things that go on after that animatic stage, besides just going into animation. And then after animation, you get it cleaned up, which is part of animation, but it's different because when you animate, it's one thing, then it all gets cleaned up, and then when it comes out of cleanup, that's when it gets all of its color and looks like the show that you see from the trailers that we've been posting.
Yeah, and so, yep, go ahead. Oh, sorry, I thought you said something now. Okay, why did you choose these art styles from other ones? Basically because we love anime. We're all huge fans of 2D animation. I grew up, actually the first anime that I ever saw was actually one I would not recommend anyone seeing. It was kind of a dark one, which a lot of animes are dark. But the one that I really got into was Dragon Ball. And so back I don't know, 1991, 92, something like that. I started watching Dragon Ball. And then a little bit later, there was a program that I think Toonami still comes on. I don't really watch TV a whole lot these days because I got too much to do making the show. But there was a program called Toonami that basically used to take these anime shows. And so that's where I saw Gundam Wing. I saw Yu Yu Hakusho. I saw, what was that? Inuyasha. What were the other ones that were on there? Do you remember, Al? There was a lot. Cowboy Bebop was one that they used to come on. But yeah, a ton of anime series. And then the other thing too was I got into Studio Ghibli and the work of Hayao Miyazaki. And I love his work. It's just he just tells beautiful stories. They're just
beautiful
gorgeous stories.
Visually.
Yes, and beautiful visually. I mean, it's one of the things that I really miss is that when you watch My Neighbor Totoro, you are watching actual hand-painted cells. Those are somebody with actual real painting on actual paper, watercolors, and they're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. And so the reason why we're in this style is because we're big fans of the style. And all of us, really like it. So yeah, that's why we're doing this.
Yeah, I was going to say, and for the little bit older generation like me, as you can see by the gray hairs, Battle of the Planets or Gotcha Man, original Akira. I mean, the shows were just incredible, and yeah, I've been an anime fan for since I was a little kid in the 70s, and I just remember seeing it and thinking, wow, this is so much different than our typical, Hanna-Barbera. And not that I didn't like Hanna-Barbera. I loved Hanna-Barbera. Who didn't as a kid? But, it just had such a different feel to it. And the question was like, why did we go this art style? Also, we wanted to step away from CG because we wanted to have the humanness of the line art and the live feeling to the drawings.
Yeah. It's just, I would say like, yeah, we're a fan of the style, and yeah, we want to make something beautiful, and we want to make something that's going to last. And in my opinion, 2D animation has a really long shelf life. And so, it's one of the reasons why, we're doing it. But yeah, I think that is it, for the questions. Again, thank you so much to everyone who joined us today. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Thank you so much for everyone who has invested. Thank you for everyone who's going to invest. We're going to thank you again later on. And, we'll get into some other things coming up. I believe we're going to have another live stream next week. So keep an eye out for that. We've got the contest coming up. Oh shoot, there was one other thing I was gonna say that I forgot now. But yeah, keep watching our socials. We got some cool things coming up. Cast announcements, contest, another live stream. Oh, I might not be on the live stream next week because my wife and I are expecting our 4th child in like 3 or 4 days. So that's coming up for me. But who knows? Maybe I'll be on the live stream because I don't know. Maybe
you can bring the latest youngest guardian on screen for a minute or two.
It's true. Maybe live stream from the hospital. That'd be kind of fun.
Well, I was thinking you'd already be home, and then you can just pop in with the baby.
Might be home. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much.
Our newest member.
That's right. Yeah, newest guardian. Well, again, thank you so much. We really appreciate everybody. Please stay tuned there's a lot more to come. And we will see you all soon.
Yeah, for sure. Follow the socials, angel.com/guardians. And we're on every social platform, I think. So
and again, if you're interested, in investing, go to angel.com/guardians. You can learn all about the investment. You can learn about the opportunity, all that stuff. Thanks again, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Yes, thank you all. We'll see you soon.
I think we're really, truly writing something great.
We get to take the myth genre and use that to communicate scriptural truths.
It's gonna be epic. There's gonna be angels fighting huge dragons.
It's grounded in truth. It's grounded in hope.
I think this is going to be a really cool show.
It's gonna just be completely out of this world.
Speaking of anime, joining us this morning is Jason Moody. He's the creator behind the new animated series Gabriel and the Guardians. What is kind of the basic premise here? He's a celestial guardian.
Yeah, he's a celestial guardian that basically a chaos giant invades and steals the eternal fruit.
Is it a film? Is it a series?
It's going to be a series, 13 episodes.
Where did this idea come from?
During COVID, there was a lot that we couldn't do. I just had a lot of pent-up creative energy, and I started coming up with this concept, and was showing my kids, was listening to a podcast about Genesis, and just got really inspired by it, and started imagining this world, showing my kids, and then I just felt this thing that was like, this needs to be a show. And I was like, I don't know how to do that, but the doors opened, and now we're with Angel.
Never be shaken, never fall. Never be shaken, never fall. Never be shaken, never fall. Never be shaken, never fall.
Never be shaken and never fall.